Bonjour everyone, I am Yann, your favorite friendly Frenchman, and welcome to the 7th episode of Exploring PARC CIEL BLEU. Before we go visit Port de l'Ouest, I feel like I should tell the ones who are only joining us today that my intention with this series is to show you as many details in the park as possible and to tell you my inspiration behind them. Now that you've been brought up to speed, let's jump right back into the park. Episode 7, Vendée Globe Experience. I want to give you a bit of context for this area first. Port de l'Ouest is inspired by Les Sables d'Olonne, a city overlooking the Atlantic on the west coast of France. This city is famous for being the beginning and the end of the Vendée Globe, a race around the globe where sailors sail solo and non-stop. This is the sponsor of this ride and of the area around it, which is based on the city itself. Try to keep the architecture in mind because I've worked from reference with this area to recreate some of the buildings we see on those pictures. Welcome to Port de l'Ouest, which literally means Port of the West. See, you're totally bilingual now. This area was a challenge because I had to get rid of any kind of terrain to do the docks, but as you can see, I was able to pull it off in the end. As you can hear, the atmosphere here is pretty different from anywhere else in the park. We can hear the waves crash against the Atlantic coastline and the traditional Vendean music, or at least what was the closest to it. Believe it or not, this area was at first planned to be a Normandy boat ride based around D-Day, but that seemed a little bit dark, and I already have the Killer Wolf coaster on the other side of the park, so I went back to the drawing board and came up with this other idea that is, in my opinion, way better. On this side of the port, there is a sushi shop that is actually supposed to represent a restaurant serving seafood. In real life, it's called L'Étoile de Mer. This blue trimming facade was pretty striking on the reference pictures, so I knew from the start I had to make this one. We have a little street decal saying welcome to Les Sables d'Olonne. Also, the reason I'm taking you all this way is to take our paddles to go rent our boats. We have a reservation, so let's scan our QR code and voila, we can row our boats. There's also our 16th crow hidden in the darkness and showing us his butt. Moving on. If you follow the street decal saying Bienvenue aux Sables d'Olonne, which actually serves to ground this place in reality thanks to that reference, you can get to a fake plaza in front of the church that is actually the queue for the water coaster. We can see the final water refiller, but don't worry, it's not the last time you'll see it on this channel. Oh, and also, little fun fact, the toilet building is actually a bank in real life. I didn't want to make a statement with that. It's just that I wanted to have a bit of fun with the idea. Basic shape art is a pain to do. Most of this sailboat is basic shapes, and I truly do not have the skills of Clary Bread, seeing how the sails are not the right shape, but hey, first time for everything, right? And here is the centerpiece of Port de l'Ouest, the lighthouse built from real-life reference. I'm so proud of it because that is actually the first thing I've ever made that is circular in Planet Coaster. It's not to scale at all, the real thing is way bigger than this, but this scaled down version really works great to greet you at the entrance of this area. And it's also a great viewpoint. I think it's time I delivered on my promise I've made in episode 3. Let's do the boat tour. Let me just scan the QR code and we're in. I think maybe I'll just do a live commentary for this one because I've never really done that on my channel. I've always scripted everything, so let's do a live commentary. As you can see, we had the Maison Jules Verne and this little rope thing that separates the water coaster area from the boat rental area. And we can also have really great views from pretty much everywhere in the park, and that's why I wanted to do this boat tour in the first place. But I think it's if it would have been in episode 3 it wouldn't have been as great as it is now. The reason why is because now we're at sunset, you know. Oh my god, a water pigeon! Okay, that was weird. Um, but sorry, I got distracted. But yeah, if we'd have started from here, from the boat rental in Village Forestier, we would have basically seen everything at day, and right now I think it's better to take a look at the entirety of the park, but at night, because we're not really gonna do that. Maybe a little bit in the next episode when we go out of the park, actually, because at one point you have to leave the park. That's unfortunate, but that's how it is. And yeah, we're coming up on Village Forestier and on the riverside things, riverside chalet, as I called them. Uh, as I don't think I've said it actually in episode 3, but chalet actually means cabin in English. And yeah, you can see the spa in the distance. For a while, actually, not this view, but if you go a bit, well, turn the camera a bit on the right, which I will not do right now. This was my background on the PlayStation Network. You can actually add me as a friend if you want. And here is the entrance at night. The only thing I don't like about the entrance at night, and actually most of the day, is that the color, the blue on both of the French flags aren't actually true to the actual color of the French flag. And here is Bord de Rive with the chair swing, and that was called Les Oiseaux. So what's great is that we can see pretty much everything that we've seen in the previous episodes, and yeah, it's great to see how far we've come, because we're almost done with this series. We have like one episode left, which will be the season finale on the Convergence. And to be honest, this series has been great. I wasn't expecting much from it. Like, I'm not doing it because I want to be, I don't know, a famous YouTuber or anything. I'm doing it for my friends first, you know, because I'm part of the community I've been part of the community for, what, 5 months now? Maybe, something like this. Or at least I found Maddie's videos like five months ago in March. So yeah, I wanted to contribute not only with my creations but also with how I viewed the game, how the game was actually more art to me than it was a game. And because I often say, and usually I say that, I think I said that to NH99, who is also a wonderful creator. Unfortunately, is not very present on YouTube, but I've said to him multiple times, and to multiple people actually, that Planet Coaster is the purest form of creation in my opinion, because you don't gain anything from it. You just share it with people and have their raw emotions as payment, and that's how art should be. And I know it's totally a utopia to think like that, but I don't care. But we're back, and I've talked for what, 5 minutes now? Alright, back to the script now. But I've gotta say, it was really nice talking to you without one for a little while. I might do more of that in the future if you guys like that, so don't hesitate to tell me in the comments whether you liked it or not. This billboard on the side of the restaurant is the logo of the Vendée Globe I showed you earlier. Our water is filtered and clean thanks to the water treatment facility, and we also have a copy of the lockers next to the Convergence, in case you don't want your things to get wet on the ride. We won't take the Eco Queue for this ride because it's a bit buggy with FlipCam, but I love how it interacts with Warehouse 89 and the lift hill. Oh, also, I don't know if you can see it because of the darkness, but there's our 17th hidden crow on the roof. We're almost to 20. So, let's keep going. As I did with Ibex, I wanted this ride to have some sort of educational value for you guys and briefly teach you what the Vendée Globe was. But before we read those, here are some more buildings inspired by real life. So, let's read those now. The Vendée Globe takes place once every 4 years. It takes sailors on a solo non-stop trip around the globe. And it was founded by Philippe Bientôt in 1989, which is why the warehouse is called Warehouse 89. The queue was placed on this side to get you hyped for the ride. Again, remember to tell a story with your cues even if they're grounded in realism. Oh, and I almost didn't mention it in any video, but changing the colors of your staff's uniform is really important for your park not to look like any other park. These colors are actually the official colors of the Vendée region. I think it's time to finally ride Vendée Globe Experience. I hope the water isn't going to be too cold at this time of day. Let's just wait that another boat comes in because we missed this one and... Oh, it's already there! Alright everyone, enjoy the ride! Oh my god, it's so cool! Whose idea was this to do this at dusk? Alright, that was my stupid idea. At least we get a pretty good view of around the world in 80 days. Phew! We're finally back in the warehouse where it's warmer. But I've actually got something to show you outside. That's right, our 18th hidden crow is taking a bath, which means we'll have 2 left to find in the next episode. But actually, it's already time to exit the ride and go in front of the convergence to prepare for the season finale. Let's take one final look around Port de l'Ouest, because that's probably the best themed area in the park in my opinion. Actually, would you agree with that? Because I'm not sure everyone would. You'll have to let me know down in the comment section actually. Actually, from this point we can see the water section of the convergence. You'll get to ride that next week. But to explain the concept briefly, every section had elements that were reminiscent of one of the 4 elements. That's why water's quite flat and relies on twists and turns. Here is the former Manoir du Bois, which is now the Devos Manor. Actually, it used to be the actual home of the owners before the Yanko company helped to turn it into the queue for the convergence. We'll see that next time, of course. Because it's time to say goodbye again. We'll see each other next Friday for the final episode, dedicated to the mysterious convergence. Thanks for being here with me for the 7th episode of Exploring PARC CIEL BLEU. If you liked it, well, please leave a like or a comment on the video, and consider subscribing to avoid missing the season finale on the convergence. This has been Yann, your favorite friendly Frenchman, and I'll see you in the next one. À bientôt.